Hey, kid.
Who, me?
Come here. Listen, aren't you the guy that usually does those versus videos that are kind of in-depth?
Yeah, that's me.
I want you to give me 3 quick games because I don't have a lot of time while I'm out here on the streets, if you know what I mean, before they catch me. So I need 3 quick games. You think you're up to that?
Quick games? But, normally I'm talking about these heavier, deep dive, long-term, lengthy games. You want something quick?
None of them wrestling references either. You can't help that, can you?
You want me to pit 3 quick games against each other? That's not exactly easy to do. That's because some of them are so different, yet they fill such an easy to find niche that we all have. We're always looking for a quick game to play. So I've got it. I'll put together 3 of my newest, latest, greatest, in my opinion, quicker games to fight against each other in a triple threat match. Think kind of Hogan, Macho Man of the Wolfpack at the time, and DDP. One represents black and white NWO, red and white NWO, or red black NWO, and then WCW, right? Or more for the merrier, maybe like Cena, Chris Jericho, and Triple H, maybe? Let's take a look right now at Harvest Dice versus Point Salad versus Draftosaurus and see which of these quicker game comes out on top for the victory.
All right, Draftosaurus is as straightforward as it gets. You have a board here, 6 different areas you can place dinosaurs on the front. It is a front and back board. Different rules apply on the back. Now, what happens here is you're going to be taking dinosaurs. There will be a different assortment of dinosaurs placed into this bag based on player count. You're then going to take 6 and put into a cup. You're going to reach in, look at your 6 dice, look at your 6 dinosaurs and pick one of them out, and then you'll place it based on where this dice roll is. Now, there's 6 odds on this dice. This is the coffee section, which means you have to place it down on this left side. No, sorry. Coffee means on the left side, yes. If it's the bathroom side, it has to be placed on the right side of the board. If it's the forestry tiles, it's these 3 green ones up here. And if it's this mountainside one, it's these 3 brownish ones down here. Then this one is place it where no T-Rex is, which T-Rexes are worth an additional point per T-Rex at the end of the game. And then this one is place in an empty paddock. If you cannot place a dinosaur, you can throw it in the river, which seems kind of tragic, for a point. But that's it. You're going to be drafting these dice out here, and I'll go through each what they do and then what they do on the back, and that's the game. You're going to rinse and repeat until you're going to do this twice. You're going to place 12 dinosaurs out here, I believe. You're going to do this twice. You're going to place 12 dinosaurs out here on your board. You just got to kind of be choosy where you're going to put them. So this one is all have to be equal dinosaurs, and the points scale up for the more you have here. This is the dinosaur you put here. If you have the most of that dinosaur in your park than anybody else, you score 7 points. Again, T-Rexes are worth an additional point. This is any 3 dinosaurs. This is any dinosaurs that do not match up, so 5 different dinosaurs here. You have pairs down here. For each pair of dinosaurs, you get 5 points. And then this one is for the only one of its kind in the park. You get 7 points. And that's it. You're going to be placing them out here. The back is a little bit different. This is 2 non-equal types, but only 2, and they're every other. So you'll be doing, let's say you wanted to do orange-yellow like this. You'll do orange-yellow, then orange-yellow, and just kind of keep going up the way. And the further you get on that track, the more points you have. This one's a little safety spot. You get to put one here, and at the end of the round, you get to place it anywhere you want. This one's pairs again, but it's pairs in 2 different sections of the board, so it just makes it a little trickier. This is 2 points per dinosaur of the person to your right, like that one. This one is a pyramid here, where the bottom row, the dinosaurs are worth 2 points apiece. This one is dinosaurs are worth 4 points apiece in the middle row, and then 7 points apiece. And you can see where the equal sign slashed out means that this one, these 3 could not be the same. However, this one and this one could, because the equal sign doesn't touch there. So just can't be adjacent to something else. And that is Draftosaurus. You can see why I want more, because it's such an easy rule set. So let's look at points out. Boom, points out is more or less set up. You're going to take a certain number of types of vegetables per player count. Then you're going to make 3 relatively equal stacks, and then you're going to deal the top 2 cards off each stack down here. On your turn, you can either take any 2 vegetables, or any single scoring card. That's it. That's how you play point salad. Then we're done. No, okay. That is all you do. I mean, you're literally going to take either 2 cards or you're going to take scoring cards. And sometimes you may want to say, well, I'm not going to be able to score this. You can always flip the scoring card over to be a vegetable, but not vice versa. Now, interestingly enough, you always know what's coming next. So this pip shows you that this on the back is a pepper. So it kind of just helps you keep track. But these are all scoring things like have the most peppers or the most red onions is 10 points. Every 2 lettuce you have is 5 points. Every, even total of those. But there's some that are like, this is worth a point. Yeah. Carrots are worth 2 points. 2 points for red onion, but -4 for yellow peppers. Now, if you get stuck, and if they can combo, so that would be 4 points for carrots if you have both these cards. But if you get stuck at the end of the game and you have to take a card and it ends up making it where it's like -4 for the thing you do have quite a few of secondary, it's frustrating. But that is the game. You're going to be trying to find the best scoring cards to really combo with the vegetables you have, or find the best vegetables to combo with the scoring cards you take. So, points out, fantastic game, super simple. And here's Harvest Dice, somehow the only one of these I've actually reviewed before. You're going to roll these 9 vegetable dice, see what they are, and then you're going to draft the dice out 1 dice at a time, taking based on the number and the vegetable. You're going to place the vegetables into this garden up here to try to place them in certain ways to where they're advantageous, and the more you have. It even has a market value sort of effect down here. So if you were to take this 5 lettuce, you would have to put it in the 5 column, right? You would just draw it. You wouldn't leave the dice there, but you draw a little lettuce there, much like I've drawn a tomato in column 5 right here. Now, then, if you were to take a tomato on your second pull, you could put the tomato anywhere you wanted to based on the number. They don't have to touch. But if you were to take another lettuce, the next lettuce you place down has to be adjacent to one that's already on the board. Same thing with your tomatoes. The next tomato you put has to be adjacent to another tomato. But when it's your first one, it doesn't really matter. If all the dice that are left, do not work for you, like you couldn't place them, you can feed your pig. When you feed the pig the pip number of a die. So this is 5. You would cross out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this pig, and when you get to these asterisks, you receive a power. That would be either raise or lower a dice by 1, or play. Let's say you have the 6 carrot, but you can only place it as a tomato. You can play this 6 as a different type of vegetable. You can use as many asterisks as you have based on as many times. You can use them as many times as you have asterisks, and you can combo them. So if you had 2, you could raise this by 2 or lower it by 2. You can never roll past 6 or 1, by the way. Now, whichever dice is left at the end of the round will go up in value. So if the orange one is left, the carrots, you will mark the carrots out. At the end of the game, you're going to score points such as this. First of all, your carrots, lettuce, and tomatoes are going to be worth the amount you have times the amount of X's here. So let's say I had 5 X's and 6 carrots. That's 30 points in carrots. Same thing here. These are basically just ribbons you get for different things. Person who has fed the pig the most vegetables of the 3 types, finished rows, that's really it. And then here, you get points based on the finished row of your pig. That is how you play Harvest Dice. So there we go. 3 different quick games, all 3 different genres. Really, one's a card game, one is a dice drafting game, and the other is a straight drafting game. So, you said, Bryan, why would you compare these 3? Well, first of all, I love all 3 of these games, and we play them quite extensively, but they both share some commonalities. They both have a little bit of luck that is mitigated by mechanics in the game. They both deal with the fact that you have multiple choices each round no matter what. So even if the luck is all there is, you still get to choose what you're going to do with that luck. And that is something that's very important to me. So let's break down a few things first. Component-wise, which one of these is a win? Well, roll and writes are pretty skimpy on components. You get paper and then dice. But I will say I like the way the board looks on the Harvest Dice, the component stuff. I like the way the mat is laid out. It's a very easy to use roll and write that actually looks like a garden and takes advantage of that. Then we got point salad. I like the fact that you have a bowl for your vegetable scoring cards, and then you have vegetables on the back. But at the end of the day, presentation, you got dinosaurs on a dinosaur park. It's Draftosaurus all day. Presentation goes to Draftosaurus for this one, 100%, right? Now, when it comes to replayability, this one's tricky because yet again, they all feature different elements of randomness that will obviously play into replayability. But at the end of the day, one of these has to come out as the most replayable. And by replayable, here's what I mean by this. I will play all 3 of these all the time, over and over and over and over and over.
Ad nauseum, literally ad nauseum. I will play these forever till the end of time, basically. But one of them specifically sticks out to me, even though I will play this one, and I have probably played this one the most, as less replayable because the strategies are very similar each time you play, and that is Draftosaurus. The reason I say that is because you start to learn the strategies of where to put dinosaurs, and your scores will end up over and over and over and over again being only about 2-3 points from each other. Now that's even if you're playing against the same group of people who's trying to mess you up and you're trying to mess them up while you're trying to look out for yourself. Don't forget, when you're playing a drafting game, you do need to look at your other players, but at the end of the day, you have to do what benefits you the most, not what hurts your friends the most. And sometimes that's not always easy to do. So Draftosaurus, after you play this lots and lots and lots and lots and lots, you start to notice that your scores stay very similar to, give or take 5 points. So I do notice that, but it doesn't bother me. I will still play it and hope to. This is the game I've won more than any other game is Draftosaurus. I love it. I want more Draftosaurus. I want more maps. I want more dinosaurs. I want it all. I just want Draftosaurus 2, Lost in New York or Lost World, whatever it's called. I want more, okay? But the most replayable one, in my opinion, goes to Point Salad. Harvest Dice has some of the same issues that Draftosaurus do. You start to learn strategies. Now, granted, the dice are much more random than the dinosaurs, because the dinosaurs themselves, with the exception of the T-Rex, don't do anything different, right? Like, they don't have any placement rules that are specifically blues can't go next. You know what I'm saying? So I would say Harvest Dice still has quite a bit of replayability because the dice numbers change everything. And you may choose to feed it to a pig instead. So, but the most replayable to me is still Point Salad because there are so many scoring cards and so many combinations of scoring cards and so many chances of, I need you, hopefully in my mind, you're not going to take a card from this column, so that scoring card will stay all the way around to my turn. So you have to think through those things as well. So replayability, the win goes to Point Salad. So that's 2 competitions or 2 categories now. The way they look, presentation is Draftosaurus. Replayability is Point Salad. Teachability, to me, it's a tiered system for me. The teachability, Point Salad and Harvest Dice are probably tied for teachability. So really, Point Salad is pretty straightforward. You either take cards or you take a vegetable thing, and I get that. But Harvest Dice, a lot of people are familiar with Yahtzee. I know you don't want to say Yahtzee because it's like, we're talking about hobby games. Yahtzee, people are familiar with that idea. So when you're teaching a roll and write, you're not teaching this far out bizarro concept of like, what? You roll dice and you write something down? No. So it's actually Harvest Dice and Point Salad, to me, take the tie for this one for being the most teachable. Draftosaurus has, each space has rules and you have to kind of get used to drafting and stuff like that. So of the 2, which one would I rather teach? I would rather teach Harvest Dice because, again, you're playing off the fact that people are familiar with that already. Now, so we've talked about presentation, we've talked about those other 2 categories. Now we're going to talk about the total package, Lex Luger, Torture Rack. Which one of these takes the cake? Which one of these is the one you want to play the most? And I'm going to give them to you 1, 2, 3 for me. Again, all 3 of these are fantastic. All 3 of these belong in your collection. I've already covered. So before you ask me in the comments below, why are you doing this game? Why are you doing these 3 games? I understand that people ask that every time, but if you go back to another competition video, someone has asked me to do these, except for this one. These were my choices. 3 quick games, and there are tons of others. You probably have tons and tons and tons of others that you like. These are 3 that are very popular that I've been playing a lot lately. So at the end of the day, number 1 slot, the one that I'm going to go to the most, no matter what, is still Draftosaurus all day, every time. If you ask me to play Draftosaurus, I will instantly say yes, no matter what I'm doing. So Draftosaurus is number 1. Number 2 for me is Harvest Dice. I love Harvest Dice. It's my favorite roll and write, maybe aside from Fleet the Dice game, but that's a much bigger, deeper, complex game. Harvest Dice is my favorite little roll and write right now. So number 1, Draftosaurus. Number 2, Harvest Dice. I feel like that's a big elbow off the top. And number 3, Point Salad. One of the best quick card games there is. It's just so much fun. Making salads, using vegetables, using fruit. Tomatoes count as fruit, right? Anyway, using them to score the points based on the scoring cards that you took, or conversely playing to hope you get better scoring cards to match up the vegetables that you've been taking the whole time. A couple ways to play. Freak me out there. There's a couple different ways to play that strategy. So, number 1 for me, Draftosaurus. Number 2 is Harvest Dice. Number 3, Point Salad. takeaway from this video is go find these 3 games right now and put them in your collection. Now, you know from me, I said it at the top of the video, I'm saying it now, I'm a deeper, heavier type game player. I typically like to play a meaty, heavy, chewy game. We're just going through that strategy. But man, if I'm going to play a quick game, and I play quite a lot of them in between, these three games, but in that order specifically. So if you're only going to buy 1, get Draftosaurus. If you're only going to buy 2, save a little bit extra and just go ahead and get 3. Let me just say it like that. So that is this triple threat review. Hope you enjoyed the steel chair to the head there that Draftosaurus ran in with and just stole the victory, as Point Salad, which most people probably thought was going to be the walkaway champion, dropped the belt to Draftosaurus. I'm Bryan Drake here on the Dice Tower. Thank you for watching, enjoying all this sort of stuff, and hanging out with me. Let me know what versus videos you'd like to see, but make sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, etc. at Dice Tower Bryan. Until then, we'll see you.